What's up, everybody? This episode of Champ and the Tramp is brought to you by Bubba Coos Burritos. Right now, definitely my lunch spot to go to, sometimes even dinner. My kids ride their bikes right down the street. There's a bunch in Toms River, some all over the state, even all over the country, man. What's your go-to there?
You know what I like to do, Frank? I like to go there and I like to build my own. I like to just kind of point, tell the guy, like, put that on there. I always start out with the crispy chicken, my favorite. I love it. I take my family there all the time as well.
Bubba Coos Burritos, can't go wrong.
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, FE. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Champ and the Tramp. We are live for this episode, so special one for you. We are welcoming back today Mr. Robert Frank. He's been a guest with the Champ and the Tramp before, but he's had a lot going on in his life. He was away for a little bit. Some of you may not have heard from him. He came down with something called ulcerative colitis, right?
You got it, yes.
And spent over a month in the hospital and lost about 100 pounds. But he's here with us today. He's back on the rebound, back on the mend, and he's looking to get swole again. So
I'm back from the dead, baby.
We want to hear the story, man. We want to hear about it. How did you know that you had it, for starters?
Yeah, where did it all start?
Damn. Well, it was actually almost 2.5 months, so it was more than a month in the hospital.
Wow.
Well, here's how it started. I was shitting blood for almost 3 weeks, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, it's an ulcer, it's a virus, it's food poisoning.
Other than that, no, you didn't feel?
No, my stomach didn't hurt. I wasn't having anything, but when I wiped, it was just, and the toilet was just straight blood. Very little stool. Like I would have stool and blood. Then towards the end, it was just blood. And then the stomach cramps started, and then the lower back pain started, and then it got to the point where I couldn't even walk.
So wait, back up for a second.
Yeah.
You were shitting basically blood, and then just blood for how many weeks?
Almost 3 weeks.
And you didn't.
It was a process. It was a process.
Occur to you at all that, hey, maybe I should go to the ER?
Roger, not like when you
Here we go.
Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings, Rogers.
Here we go.
Every Saturday morning it's not the same when consecutive days.
Here we go.
You know?
Here we go.
Listen. I'm the type of dude that I'm like most men. Okay, I don't go to the doctor for shit. Yeah. Okay, unless I'm on my deathbed, that's when I'll go.
But bro, 3 weeks of shitting blood.
I knew something was wrong, and I was making excuses for it.
Who are you telling? Your wife?
I told my wife probably after the second week.
Jesus.
Once I started getting the stomach cramps and the lower back pain is when I was like, all right, babe, we got something going on here. Yeah. And she wanted me to go to the ER, and then finally it got to the point where I was rushed there. And
ambulance.
No, well, she like sped drove me there. She was going like 90 miles an hour getting me there. So we go to the ER and they do a CAT scan, all the bullshit that they do in the ER. They did the CAT scan and the X-rays and all this and that. And the doctor came back and he said, "You have pancolitis." So we were like, okay, what does that mean? My whole large intestine / colon was inflamed and like bloody and just nasty. So I'm thinking this is a couple antibiotics and they send you home, kick in the ass, go ahead, put a Band-Aid on it and go home. So they were like, I wanted to leave, and they were like, yeah, this is not something that you treat at home. Like, you have to be admitted for this. Well, that admission turned into 2.5 months of hell. They were treating it aggressively for the first 2 weeks. It was 10 days I was in the hospital. Steroids, not the good kind. Antibiotics, steroids, IVs, infusions. They were doing everything to try to calm this down. I did a colonoscopy, and the GI doctor said that my large intestines looked like bloody ground beef. Like when you go to the ground beef aisle and you just see like a bloody piece of ground beef. So
now, because you waited so long, was that causing you more damage? Had you gone earlier?
No.
Okay.
And the reason why is there's two ways that you could get ulcerative colitis. One is a bacterial infection, which they ruled out. So bacterial, they checked me for C. diff and all the different bacterias. Bacteria was ruled out. The other way you get it is an autoimmune disease, which is in your body dormant for however long until it wants to peek its head out and say, hey, I'm here, and now you have it for the rest of your life. So as they were treating this with every steroid and infusion and everything like that, for the first 10 days, my pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I knew something was going wrong. On the 10th day or 12th day, something like that, I perforated, which means that my colon got like a hole in it. And now the shit is going into my body. It's almost like when people say you have an appendix burst. Right. You don't want your appendix to burst because then all the toxins and everything get into your body.
Too, don't they?
Appendicitis.
Septic.
Yeah, septic, right. Yeah, exactly. So, 5 minutes later, a surgeon came in and he was like, well, here's what's going to happen. Now, I'm 42 years old. I've never had surgery a day in my life, never been in a hospital, I don't even go to the doctor, go to urgent care, get a Band-Aid for, antibiotics, a Z-Pack or whatever. That's it. So when he told me I had to have surgery, I'm like freaking out now. So that's what they had to do. There was no time for second opinion. My wife, she works for a surgeon, a colorectal surgeon actually, who should have been taking care of this the whole time, works at Robert Wood Johnson. I was in Princeton. So she called her in a frantic, panicking, hey, can we get him over to you? Even she was like, yeah, there's no time. You have to go now. So I got the surgery. A couple hours later, I came. I think it was a 3.5-hour surgery.
The surgery is essentially to repair that perforation.
What it was is taking out 4.5 feet of my large intestines. So they left a little piece of colon, about 8 inches or 10 inches, because then ultimately their goal is in a couple months when everything heals to do a what's called a J-pouch procedure where they take off, because I woke up with a shit bag. I don't know if you guys could see this right here, but I shit right here now in a bag on my stomach. I don't shit through my ass anymore. It's weird. Except for a little bit of blood that comes out every morning because they say that's normal. But so to do this correction, all that has to heal that they left in there. And then finally you do the correction, and but that takes months and months and months down the road to actually heal. I forget where I was going with this. I was on track for something, but yeah, it was basically hell for that time. So then what happens is I come out of the surgery and everything starts going wrong. All my organs start failing. Heart doctors in 20 times a day, kidney doctors in 20 times a day, liver enzymes, everything that could go wrong could go wrong. So I was being monitored by probably every specialist in the hospital. And, that's why I say, I don't joke around when I say it, but I should have been dead probably twice by now. But here I am to tell the story on the Champ and the Tramp podcast.
Fuck, man.
That's crazy, man. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
So the cause is from being an autoimmune issue.
Yeah,
and they say how they suspect how it came about or what triggered it.
I mean, they suspect stress and this and that. And do I have stress in my life? Sure, but I don't know if I have more stress than anybody else. There's really nothing. That it just, when it wants to peek its head out, it just comes out. There's nothing that I could have done wrong to, make this happen. But
I've heard, stress can cause stomach ulcers, but this is something different, right? This is more of an intestinal ulcer.
This is like a stomach ulcer times 20.
Right.
Now, will this procedure will fix the issue?
Well, that's the goal. The goal is to get all this corrected. But the timetable for all this to go down is going to take, maybe 3 to 6 months to heal. And then I go in for a second procedure, which then takes that little piece of colon that they left, tie it into the small intestines to make like a new asshole, so to speak, which is what they're doing. So then I could crap out of my ass again, and then another, I think it's maybe 4 to 8 weeks or something like that to make sure that everything is coming out properly. Then they go back in for a third procedure to remove the shit bag that I have on my stomach right now. So
Now
it's wild.
That's the physical aspect of it we're talking about, which I can't imagine. I can't imagine the pain involved.
Yeah.
Mentally, though, as a guy that built his career and has spent the last 15 years or whatever in the gym,
Yeah.
building himself up, making himself bigger, how mentally, what kind of effect did that have on you, losing all that weight?
Dude.
I mean, I talked to you a little bit. I would text you, check in
Yeah.
with you, and you said it was – you said, to quote you, you said I look like an effing AIDS patient.
Yeah.
This is brutal,
You ain't kidding.
Like, where's your mental state at now? And listen, I have no doubt, bro. I mean, you seem like you're cut from a little bit of a different cloth. I have no doubt you'll be back and get it back. But presently, you're roughly, 80 pounds less than you were, and you're not that guy. How has that affected your mental state?
Bro, as I was in the hospital, like every day, I used to do this thing where I would take my right arm, my right hand, and I would reach over to my left shoulder to see like how big I was. Like if my middle finger could touch like the outside of my trap, I knew like, all right, I got to eat more. I got to do more delts. Like blah blah blah. Dude, every time I would do that, I was getting closer and closer to like scratching my back, and I was like, yo, this is something ain't right here. But yeah, I ended up losing 79 pounds. I was about hovering around 205 before I started shitting blood. By the time, now I was not eating. I was obviously sick. Something was wrong with me, so my meals were down. By the time I got to the ER, I think I was 187. So I already lost like close to 20 pounds. And then my lowest in the hospital, when they weighed me in the bed, I was 138.
Wow.
So imagine walking around at 205, 210,
Just a specimen.
all sauced up, looking good, for my age anyway, and then going down to 138 pounds. And the most brutal thing is everybody thinking that I was ripped. Like, oh, dude, if you're 138, you got to be diced, bro. You got to be shredded. You must have a 10-pack. I was like, no, I lost all of my muscle, which is why I'm in a hoodie and a jacket right now staying on this podcast, because I feel like now that I'm in the public eye and I'm quote-unquote a public figure with Instagram and social media, I feel like people have a perception of me that I should look a certain way. Yeah. And even though aggregate I probably have 4 or 5 million followers all throughout social media, probably less than 1% of them know the story of what happened to me.
I was going to say, did you try to keep it under wraps for a while? Obviously, you didn't know how long you were going to be in the hospital.
Right.
Because I didn't even know about it. I consider us friends. I didn't even know about it for, I would say, probably a month.
Yeah.
And then someone said, have you heard about Robert Frank? And I think what you were doing, correct me if I'm wrong, you were posting a lot of old videos.
Oh, yeah.
And people were saying, why is he posting these old videos and not new content?
And
then one day, you just were like, look, it's time to be honest about it, and you let people know. But did you want to keep it under wraps?
Well, a small piece of being a content creator wants to use that clickbait of, hey, I'm in the hospital, this is going to get a lot of views. Right. But then the other half of me was like, I look like an AIDS patient right now. I don't want people seeing me like this. So I was torn whether or not to post. And I don't think I posted anything at all about me being in the hospital. And I would never even post it on my main pages. I have like side pages, like our podcast page or like my merch page or something like that. I would post pictures there. I wouldn't even post it on my main Instagram, just because I was kind of embarrassed. You know what I mean? Yeah. But getting back to your question of like how does it make me feel? Like, dude, I'll be honest with you, man. I may sound like a bitch or a pussy or whatever, but dude, I cry every day, bro. I look in the mirror, like when I have no shirt on, I'm just like brushing my teeth or whatever. And bro, tears roll down my face, like legit tears every day, because I'm not that dude anymore. And I know everybody says, bro, muscle memory, before we went live, you were like, bro, muscle memory is a real thing. I've been hearing about this muscle memory for 42 years. I'm going to put it to the test.
Listen,
let's see if this really muscle memory exists.
Muscle memory, plus you're not scared to get a little extra help there too.
Hey,
so.
You got to do what you got to do, baby.
Mind over matter too.
Yeah.
I think you're in a unique position though, man, I mean, if you want to post it, don't want to post it, you could definitely motivate a lot of people that are going through some hard shit,
right.
and you make it out. And show the people your resiliency and stuff like that. That's definitely
The comeback can build your brand even bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
sure.
It's such a good story,
For sure, and that is what I hope to do. I hope to reach through all this. I hope to reach a new audience of people with ulcerative colitis, and not just ulcerative colitis, but Crohn's disease is right
yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Irritable bowel syndrome, like people that have all kind of stomach issues that you could be in a really fucked up position.
Right.
Now, most of the people that have UC, ulcerative colitis, still have their colon. They just have stomach aches every once in a while, and they have flare-ups, which is what they call it, when they're having like a bad 3 or 4 days where they're shitting blood and they got to get antibiotics and shit. I'm at level 10 with this shit. I lost my colon. I perforated twice. I'm going through the ringer. I got this shit bag on my stomach. So I'm hoping to rebuild myself and show people that, like, yeah, you could do it. And like I say, I want to reach a new audience of people to inspire and motivate, and not just, the world star crowd that thinks I'm funny because I yell in my car. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shit, you could bring your perspective to this, and I think you get a lot of people into that. The possibilities are endless right now of what we could do. It just, I got to get in my own head and say, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But every time that I make a bowel movement in the morning and it's just still nothing but blood, which again they say is normal, it like discourages you. Yeah. Every time I look in the mirror to brush my teeth, like I try not to look in the mirror because I'm just discouraged.
Not to be graphic, but I guess I'm a little confused.
Go ahead.
I thought they left you 8-10 inches of your colon, and it's not connected, so that when they go back in, right now you're, as you said, shitting in a bag.
Yeah.
And when they go back in, they reconnect that, and then so. Where is that coming from? Is there still your intestines are still connected to your colon?
It's still coming from my colon. So my colon is still sitting in there.
Okay.
It's still intact, but it's like the last little piece. And I don't know what they reconnect and take out and whatever they configure down there, but they say it's normal for the little piece that they left in there to create mucus and blood. It's still like an active organ.
Right.
So like clockwork, every morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I got that urge that I got to like take a shit, and they tell me don't force anything, just let gravity do its thing. So I just sit on the bowl and probably, God, a good gallon or so of just straight up mucusy blood just comes out of my ass, dude. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
I got a kind of a relatable story to that. I got to share just because you reminded me when I was married and we had our first. Actually, we weren't married at the time, but when Jenny and I had our first child, Milani, I was there through the whole thing, helped deliver or whatever, and Jenny had some issues, some hemorrhaging issues or whatever after she delivered. So I'm literally holding our daughter for probably a half an hour, you know what I mean? Because she was fine. She didn't, they clean her up, whatever, and then they wrap her up and they let me hold her. Usually they give her right to the mom, but Jenny was with the nurse and they were trying to get, bleeding to stop or whatever. And I remember she went into the bathroom with the nurse and, sat on the toilet, whatever. They were working through the issues there, got her back in bed, and probably like an hour had passed. And I had to pee. They took my daughter to wherever they take them. And I was like, I got to pee. I went in, I picked the toilet seat up, and it looked like, I can't even describe what was in that toilet. So I can kind of relate to probably what you see in the morning, because I almost lost my lunch, and I'll never get that image out of my head in my life. I said, can I flush this or what? Yeah, it was pretty graphic. It was pretty horrible. But you said a gallon. If it was a gallon, there was 3 gallons in this. Oh God, it was horrible.
Yeah, but yeah, it's brutal, and it's no stool. It's not like it's mixed with anything. It's just you look in the toilet and it's just red Gatorade in there, man. It's wacky, man.
That's crazy.
But the cool thing right now is like I'm not under any kind of like diet restriction, because this shit bag that I have like bypasses where all the problem is, because it gets cut off and it goes this way, makes like a little jug handle and goes this way into the bag. So. But the one thing that I will warn people is, I know people say like as you get older, people blame old age and people getting older for like different changes in your body. I have noticed over the past 5 to 10 years, I would say, different changes in my body where I couldn't eat certain things anymore. Like I couldn't eat anything buffalo, like buffalo sauce, spicy, because within 5 minutes, I was in the bathroom, which I love that stuff. And I just blamed it where, I'm getting older. I'm getting
Shitting
older.
or puking?
Shitting. Yeah. Like just diarrhea. Not bloody diarrhea, but just I would
About your stomach.
yeah.
You think that was like a sign, kind of what's,
Kind of like, like I don't know if it was a sign. And then over the past year or two, garlic, anything garlicky, I was in the bathroom within 20 minutes of eating it. Really? So I was like, wow, like my stomach, I was like, well, I'm 42 now, you know, my body's changing, but maybe it was a sign. So for anybody out there that is noticing any kind of stomach changes or anything, I would just really advise just go see a gastrointestinal doctor or GI or even your family doctor. Just get checked out to make sure that you're all good, because you do not want what I have.
And how they would do a colonoscopy, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Which is what, after the age of 40, you're supposed to get like one every other year or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's after 40 if you have family history, but if no family history, I think it's 50.
Right.
They keep
Roger
pushing
gets
it.
them monthly.
Yeah,
He gets them monthly, actually.
Frankie does them for me. No charge.
Jesus.
Free. Yeah.
Well, now I know where to come every time I need one. Frankie hooked me up.
I got thick fingers.
Jesus. Hope you wear gloves.
Swollen knuckles.
On his back. You said you know where to come.
I'll be here. No gloves. I'm allergic to latex.
So what are your doctors telling you as far as getting back into your workout regimen and getting back to the gym? I mean, you can you with
No, not right now. They want to play it super cautious because my case was so severe.
Okay.
They just want everything to heal up. I'm not even supposed to be driving right now. I mean, I'm going against doctor's orders, driving an hour and a half coming here.
Oh, shit.
But it's because of all the pain gimmicks that I'm on.
Andrew, get that waiver for him to sign.
Yeah,
before
no worries, man. No worries. I'm good. But yeah, it's just because of all the pain medicine that they have me on, and everything can affect your driving. But I haven't taken anything since 8:00 this morning. I'm good to go.
And he even declined to drink, folks. He said, he can't.
Now, is that they tell you probably stay away from that stuff? Right?
Yeah. They want me. They want that little piece of colon that's left. That's crucial to the next part of my journey. And worst case scenario, because everyone's like, well, what's the worst case? The worst case is it never heals. They got to remove it, and I have a bag for the rest of my life. That's the worst case. So, of course, what I did in the hospital is I started Googling bodybuilders with ostomy bags or ileostomy bags.
There's a chick. I have no clue what her name is, but there is this smoke show of a girl that's, she's definitely into working out and fitness. That has it's like part of her story. It's part of like how she built, and she's got, I don't know what to call it, a colostomy bag. I was going to call it a shit bag. A colostomy bag, and bro, she is a 10 all day long. The shit bag doesn't bother me at all.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Good for you, man. I guess I'm still getting used to it, because I looked at every time I have to empty, because I got to empty this fucking thing probably 6 to 8 times a day.
How does that work?
Dude, I kneel on my hands and knees like I'm getting ready to puke, but I got to I drape it over the toilet. And my wife has this little setup for me right on the top of the toilet with all the wet wipes and all the different gimmicks that I have to clean this thing off. And I mean, it's actually pretty cool how they did it. Like I can't imagine the person that thought for people with stomach problems to make a piece of your small intestines be your asshole and shit out of your stomach. But
so you have like a port, I guess,
yep,
right?
Yeah.
And the bag like essentially plugs into it.
Yeah.
And then you change it once a day, or you
on no you empty. Depending on how much you eat and drink, you empty the bag usually somewhere between 6 and 10 times a day. Like you drain it, but you're not supposed to change the bag. You change the bag like once every 3-4 days.
Oh, okay.
And then there's something underneath that bag that you're supposed to change like once a week. And it's a whole process that my wife is an angel, because she learned everything there is to learn. Like she's basically a nurse now when it comes. She's an expert on all the stuff that has to do with this. So I wouldn't know how to do any of this stuff by myself.
Now, if you're anything like me, and I hope you're not, you would have been going through some serious emotional shit and probably being a real grump and an asshole some days.
Oh yeah.
Has this made your relationship stronger with your wife? Because it sounds like she's a ride or die, has been with you through this whole thing and been by your side and been your caretaker, if you will, you know?
Yeah. No, it definitely has made our bond stronger. And just as I was laying in the hospital bed she was, because I wouldn't want anybody to come see me. All my boys, my friends, they were texting me, let me come see you, let me come see you, let me come see you. I didn't want anybody to see me like that.
Yeah.
So they were taking turns. My dad and my wife were the only two people that I would let come to the hospital. My best friend of 35 plus years was begging me, like, bro, let me come chill with you. We won't even talk about you being sick. We'll tell old stories. We'll do this. We'll do that. I was like, bro, I don't want anybody to see me like this. But I noticed, like, as the doctors were, wound care would come in, and this doctor would come in, and that doctor would come in. She was like a student, like absorbing all of this information. I just like looked at her like, what would I do without her? Like, it's crazy. So it definitely has made our bond definitely stronger. I think for sure. At least I feel that way. I hope she's probably like, I got to take care of this schmuck now. You know what I mean? For another however many months. But
I've met her on a number of occasions. She's a very nice girl. Yeah, for sure. She had, I think when we first met, she was nursing a broken foot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. She
still wanted to come to the bar because she heard you were going to be there. So she couldn't miss that photo op, man. She needed to meet Roger.
That's funny, man.
But it's always like that when you're vulnerable and your lady takes care of you. You're always like, damn, I need this one actually. Shit.
If I'm struggling mentally, I tend to take it out on the people closest to me, and that's absolutely the wrong
That's
thing
everybody,
to do.
though. I mean, I guess most people, right?
I think so, but if they stick with you through that, they're ride or dies. You know what I mean? So.
All right, so you want to be a dick to people and then they stick with you, then they're good. Then they're good.
I'm saying when I'm going through shit. I didn't say every day, but when you're going through some shit and you're stressed, you know what I mean? Like you tend. I think most people, especially men, probably we're big babies at the end of the day. You take it out on the people closest to you. So
now, do they say a diet now? Like, does diet have to be any particular thing?
No, I pretty much. I mean, because I've lost so much weight. And because I've been on strict diets for so many years, just trying to get bigger and, more lean certain times of the year, I have no restrictions now. So I'm eating McDonald's every day, Wendy's every day, Taco Bell. I'm just trying to put on as much weight as possible. But it's just not working. My body's just not responding yet. I'm back over 150 again.
Did you get full quick?
Oh yeah, a lot quicker than I used to. Right. And it's not that my mind is full. Mm-hmm. It's that my stomach gets full.
Right.
And I know when I ate too much, because remember, I don't have a large intestines anymore. Right. So it's my small intestines trying to do all the work. And you could feel it when you eat too much. You could tell that first bite that you went overboard. Yeah, it's like, bro, pump the brakes, baby. Pump the brakes.
To back up a little bit, you were saying that a lot of people wanted to come see you. I think I even asked, and you said they were only allowing 2 people a day or something like that, and had to be like family or whatever. But I've seen this a lot lately on social media, and I mean I'm referencing social media again, but let's be honest, that's where we get a lot of our info from.
Exactly.
Numerous posts. One guy drove through multiple states to go see his dying father that had cancer. And he got to the hospital, and he's like, I obliged to the mask rule. I put the mask on. I go in. I'm like, I'm here. My dad's only got a few days to live. I'm here to see my dad. And they would not let him see his father without the vaccine shot. He didn't, because he didn't have. So he literally, because he's not going to get it, can't see his dad. Would they let people in the hospital you were in if they were unvaccinated?
So I was in Princeton. Yeah, it didn't matter if you were vaccinated or not, but they had a rule that it was immediate family. And one guest a day. You can only have one guest. So it was either my wife or my dad that could come every day. And then because I was there for so long, that the rules changed. They made them more lenient, and then anybody could come, but you still can only have one guest per day. Right. That's when my best friend and all my, close buddies were like, yo, let me come.
I guess it's really just up to the facility then, how they want to enforce that. So,
yeah.
I've heard a lot of really sad stories lately about people not being able to see dying relatives because they don't want to get vaccinated, so they literally can't visit their own father who's dying. It's crazy.
Yeah, they ask you a million questions when you go in there. All the typical COVID bullshit questions. They ask you, in the past 7 days, have you left the country? This, that. So you're there filling out paperwork for 20 minutes before you come in, right. And they won't let you wear just any mask. It has to be one of those little baby blue sheet masks, I call them, that you see people wearing, but it's it's wild, man. It's crazy. And then we had an issue. This is kind of going off subject, but when I first went into the ER and first got admitted to the hospital, one of the male nurses caught wind that I was there. So what happens when, the young male nurses that are just getting a job, people start peeking their head into my room. And then before you know it, it was like I felt like I was at like a petting zoo because people would just had no business coming there. They had to put like a sign on my door, like nobody, because I would see people walking past my room with like their phone out like this, just like recording.
Isn't that like a fucking HIPAA violation?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I was just like, yo. So my wife actually put a complaint through to the hospital that, you know, I mean, people that had no business being in my room were just, I mean, they all worked there. But they would find any excuse to go in the cabinet. Oh, I need to find this. Love your videos, by the way. And it was just like I didn't want people to see me like that.
Saying, like you
know
said,
what I mean?
that's you don't want to be seen in that vulnerable state. So
yeah, I don't want my friends to see me like that. I don't want people from social media to see me. I didn't want anybody to see me like that.
And what was it like the day they said you can go home? That must have been a fucking uplifting day for sure.
Well, this is actually a good story. We kind of skipped over this part. I got released. I went into the hospital on March 11th. That's when we went to the ER. On April 1st, this is after my first surgery was, I think, on March 24th. So I was in the hospital for like 12 days, perforated, needed the emergency surgery, 4.5 feet of the colon gone, shit bag, the whole thing. April 1st, they discharged me, let me go home.
Oh, wow.
Now, my whole body was swollen. Lower back, stomach, legs. I was like an elephant. They kept saying, you have to start walking around in the water. It's called edema or something like that. Your body is going to it's going to recirculate and you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So they let me go home on April 1st. Now you're like, wait a minute. I thought you were in the hospital for 2 months. Here's where it gets good. They let me go home. This was a Thursday night. Friday morning, less than 24 hours later, the visiting nurse made her first home visit, less than 24 hours after me being discharged. She came in the house and took one look at me, and she was like, you need to go back to the hospital. So, of course, I'm freaking out. I was like, I was just in the hospital for 3 weeks. They let me go home. They said, all I got to do is walk around. All I got to do is walk. Now, mind you, I forgot how to walk. Or I didn't know how to walk anymore because I was in the bed for so long. I was walking like a baby deer. So I was like, you got to give me time. She was like, no. She called the surgeon, a visiting nurse, this little Filipino lady. She's like, no, he doesn't need to be here. He needs to go back. So the surgeon took her advice and was like, okay, Robert, go back to the ER. So then here I go. I'm back in the ER. Waited 3.5 hours in the ER.
Isn't that crazy?
I was like, I just lived here for 3 weeks.
Crazy that you just got, discharged.
Left.
You go back in. You have to go through all the registration again.
Bro.
24 hours later,
Brutal.
Get them to put the little band on you, and then sit in a waiting room for. It's crazy, man.
And it was time for this was fresh, right off my first surgery. So the pain medication was wearing off. My wife didn't have the pain meds with me. I was starting to get in severe pain. Finally, they get me a room, they get me an IV, and they give me, all the pain medication, stuff like that. And that's when, while I was in the ER, they gave me another CAT scan, another this. And, when you go to the ER, you're there for hours. Right. It's like an all day, all night type thing. And I told my wife, because visiting hours were over, I told my wife to go home because I'm thinking I'm going home that night. So I'm like, babe, go home because we had a podcast to do. It was a Thursday night. Or it was a Friday night. We normally do it on Thursdays, but we moved it to Friday because blah, 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 whatever. So I was like, babe, go home. You got to help with the podcast. You're the one that knows all these medical terminologies and what's wrong with me and blah, blah, blah. You go home. So I send her home thinking that I'm fine because I got 2 milligrams of Dilaudid in me right now. I'm feeling no pain. I'm just like, this CAT scan is fine. There ain't no problems. All of a sudden, the surgeon that does my first surgery and 2 of the residents that were surgeon residents walk in the room, and I could just see the look on their face, and I'm like, why do I feel like you guys have bad news for me? The first thing the surgeon says, because he knows Marissa, he goes, where's Marissa? And I was like, I'm fucked. I knew. Yeah. You're asking for my wife? Yeah. So he was like, get her on the phone. I start bawling immediately because I was like, I cannot go through this again. I perforated a second time. So that's why, I was home. I made a visit home for 12 hours, but then I was back in the hospital, and I didn't get released until, I don't know, what was it, April 26th, April 28th, something like that. I've only been home for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I was there, aside from a little brief stint where I visited my house for a half a day, I was in the hospital for 2.5 months. It was brutal. 2 surgeries. They had to go back in and clean up whatever, restaple me up, and I was really close to.
Now, are they doing the little incision, using those little tools that they do, or
Nah, bro. I have it. I at one time it was 9 inches. 9-inch scar from the top of my chest all the way down. It shrunk now to I think 6.5 inches. Yeah. But yeah, I got a gnarly scar like going right down. So I don't have to. The good thing is when I get back in shape, when I get back to jacked, and I get my shoulders back and my chest and my back, and everything is good. Notice I didn't say legs, right? Once everything is good again, I don't have to worry about really focusing on abs because like I got this cool scar now that I can be like, well, I really can't do that shit no more. So I don't have to worry about being super lean as long as I got some bulk back to me. Yeah. But that's the goal, man. The goal is to get back and to inspire some new people.
This guy, not many people know. I guess we can talk about it now because he's talked about it on the show. But not long ago, had hip replacement, and he kept it under wraps for a long time. Probably, I don't know, over a month. You didn't talk about it, maybe more.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Just with Matt Sarah's thing.
Yeah.
Every time you bring it up.
Well, I mean, it's been talked about. It's not
I'm joking. I don't care. Yeah.
I think it's a thing with tough guys. You don't want to be seen as vulnerable. You don't want to be seen as injured or. When you have that persona.
Some people like the attention for that, though.
Like a Bradley Martin. Bradley Martin would love being in the hospital. He goes to the hospital on purpose, like just to give the 2 fingers up while he's in the emergency room.
What's up with that guy?
I don't think I follow him. Bradley
I watch a lot of his videos. Isn't he always doing? Isn't Steve Will Do It always in videos with him?
Probably. Again, I don't pay attention. The last time I saw him was at Dan's house for I don't know, maybe the Halloween party 2 years ago, whatever. But yeah, Bradley is like a.
Didn't he just get some charges on him not long ago?
Oh, because of his gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was keeping his gym open. I did hear about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for attention too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this guy in New Jersey at the Attila's gym down in South Jersey had all that going on. He was like, oh shit, maybe
I thought it was for. Listen,
on.
I could be wrong. I'm not. This is just what I thought it was. I'm not making any accusations, but I thought it had something to do with steroids. I know it was something to do with the gym
I
too.
I didn't hear about that.
Something to do with selling steroids or some shit like that. But anyway.
No, did not hear about steroids, but I would say
pull that up.
He's all natty.
Bradley Martin in the news lately and see what it was about. I know it had something to do with the gym too, but I thought there was
Bradley Martin.
He's he's got a big social media following, but he's like a bodybuilder dude. I'd be FF pro type guy, but he's more known for his video content and his Instagram content.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if he was on steroids. I thought he was all natty, man. Damn.
Roger too.
Hey,
who's the one guy that still to this day claims he's all natty? And
Mike O'Hearn.
Mike O'Hearn,
Jesus Christ,
still claims he's all natty.
Yeah. He's like 53 and not jacked out of his
got
mind.
Like 6% body fat.
He's like a big dude though.
Yeah,
too,
but
right?
he still to this day claims he's all natty. Still, like, come on, bro, come on. You might as well give it up at this point.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like it's like acceptable. I feel like you get more respect when you come out and say. Like, even though I work with a supplement company, it's like, yeah, I do take these supplements, but I also do this. I feel like people will have more respect for you, like, because people like people that keep it real. You know what I mean? Don't lie to the people, because the minute that you get exposed or something comes out or someone turns their back on you that knows some inside dirt or anything like that, it's like you're screwed, man. So just keep it real with people.
I think that's why Rich Piana got a lot of respect. Is he really just kept it real?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy ended up pretty much fucking killing himself from it. But I think that was some recreational drugs in there as well. But,
I think so. Yeah.
He did keep it real, and that guy had a fucking huge. Well, I'm sure you were at like Mr. Olympia and shit like that. I mean, they say his line is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, the one thing that I could say is my line was second longest to Rich Piana. This was at what was that, FitCon 2017 or 18, 5%, and Rich Piana had their little thing, and my line was second longest to his.
Awesome,
so
man.
I was the first loser. I was in second place. But CT Fletcher was at that show. Simeon Panda, who's another big a UK. He's like the Derek Jeter of the UK.
Pull it up. What are you getting? What do you have legal issues over?
I thought it was keeping his gym open.
All right, so I stand corrected. Sorry, I owe you an apology.
Pushing steroids, this guy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's going to be the headline next week.
I think Roger's asking for
getting
steroids.
sued now. Sorry, Bradley.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Just,
you are still natty, Bradley. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, we talked the first time you were on the show. We kind of talked about your up and coming. But did you ever think, man? You know, I mean, you were a union guy like me. You drove a forklift, and then you built this fucking following, and then you go to having the second longest line at Mr. Olympia. I mean, that's
Well, not Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia is a big deal. This was in UK, so
oh, okay.
a little bit different, but
You did do Mr. Olympia though, didn't you? Did you have a booth there or no?
we didn't do a booth there. Yes, I'm sorry, we did
Yeah,
in
I thought you did.
2019 with the supplement company I'm with. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, which is why. So I just, I don't want to disrespect the show. But yeah,
No.
we okay.
Plug away, bro.
Steel supplements,
Well,
baby.
good, baby.
We
I worked with Steel for a little bit. You put
Yeah.
me on them. Not, American company, great company.
Yeah,
Not-
of
nothing
course.
bad to say about them.
of course, yeah. I just don't know with the sponsorships. I want to behave and
No,
be a good
good,
guest.
man.
No. They're if they were a fucking Chinese company, I don't know, we'd let you plug them, but they're American company, so we're good. We're cool.
No, we did. We did the Olympia there, and but that was after Rich's passing. So, but yeah, Rich and CT Fletcher are probably the two most influential people with like paving the way for kind of what I do, like in that fitness niche of like just content creators. Like you really don't have to be a bodybuilder like on stage competing to like have a voice in the fitness community.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
CT. He sent me a little audio clip once. CT. So I guess someone I know knows his son.
Okay.
And I was listening to, it's like, I'm the motherfucking man. I'm the one. That little clip I was listening to before a fight. So he had him send me something. It's pretty fucking dope.
That's awesome.
His son's a power lifter too, isn't he?
Yeah. Samson, I think is his name. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I've met them on quite a few occasions. And CT's another one who just had like a heart transplant?
Yeah.
And he inspired a bunch of
Yeah.
people to, and he did it at what, 50 something years
Oh,
old.
he used to be huge. Bro.
Oh,
he was
God.
a power lifter, and,
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
he really got more shredded and started, training people and shit like that. But back in the day, I remember watching like a little documentary on him. He ate something like, bro, it was something like 18 or 20 Big Macs a day.
Yeah,
or something. It was
I saw that.
bro, it was something insane. Can you imagine? I mean, that's got to do a number on your heart, bro.
He said it was like a mental thing. He thought if he didn't eat those
Right.
18 Big Macs that he wasn't going to be able to perform.
Right.
So,
That's wild.
but yeah, that's got to definitely do something. That's why I got to be careful now, because the way I'm eating, trying to gain this weight back, and it's not working. But I'm gonna either turn up with diabetes or some kind of heart problems because I'm just.
You don't want to like get a nutritionist, eat some like whole foods and stuff.
I just
You can
feel
probably gain
like
your weight that way too.
I could. I just feel like the shitty route is gonna put on the weight faster because I really don't care how it looks. But I probably should start eating more clean. Yeah.
You got any desire, Frankie? I know you'll never be like eat shit, but like when you're done fighting, you got any desire to like get up to whether even eating clean, you can still eat more. Get up to like $170 or something.
Yeah,
Walking around?
75. I
You
love
want to be like
$175.
$175? Yeah, I wonder what you look like in a
talk to your
$175.
doctor too.
Yeah.
When I'm done, I'm able to do it.
Me and Robert go to the same doctor. So.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go. I need a new doctor. My doctor's in jail.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what he did, but yeah.
Jesse goes to an anti-aging doctor and gets all his shit legit. But
Is that where you get Botox at?
no, that's my girl's place. But shout out to Spatology.
Hey. It's amazing. It's amazing. But
So what's next, brother? What's next for you? I mean,
Well, you
you're
said-
on the
You said
mend and
3 to 6 months before the next procedure.
yeah,
Is that
3 to
right?
6 months before the next procedure. Hopefully, it's closer to 3 than 6. And after that, they say it's anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks after that, just to make sure everything is running right and all the pipes are going the right way. And then you have the third procedure, and then you're pretty much on your way. And I've talked to people who have had the J pouch procedure, which who went through exactly what I went through, and they just say that the quality of life is so much better than having a bag on your stomach. And I'm still going to be restricted with things that I could do. There are going to be changes even when you do have the corrective surgery. They say that you still are going to have to shit as much as you're changing your bag. So where I was normally a once-a-day shitter, this is TMI, but what we're talking about shit, right? I was a once-a-day shitter. I'm now going to be a 6 to 10 time a day shitter. So I'm going to have to always know where a bathroom is if I'm in the mall or if I'm, at some kind of event or a meet and greet or some kind of an expo or a sporting event, wherever I'm at, I'm going to have to map out where the bathrooms are because I'm going to have to go.
I got a buddy like that. My buddy Wayne. What's up, Wayne? He literally shits like he's got some intestinal thing, but he's like lactose intolerant or whatever it might be, but he pays no mind to it. So the dude's always like, I got to shit. He literally shits probably 6 or 8 times a day. It's kind of like an ongoing joke with his wife because he doesn't pay attention to what he should eat and what he shouldn't eat. He just does whatever he wants,
Bro, one thing about me is I am not a public bathroom shitter.
Neither am I, bro.
Bro, I am deathly afraid. Like, I would rather shit my pants.
You know what I do?
Than have to shit, like, in a public bathroom.
I'm on the road most of the time, and I usually can get by my house because I work pretty locally. So if I got to shit, and here's what we were talking about, things that mess up your stomach, make you shit. Coffee. I'll drink a coffee, I'll go to work, I'll stop and get a coffee at like, 8 o'clock in the morning or something. By like 9:30, I got to shit. But it's from the coffee. If I didn't drink the coffee, I wouldn't have to shit. Because I'd be a once a day shitter too.
Right.
But I shit like twice a day because the first one's just because of the coffee. You know what I mean? And usually I'm in the area I can get by, but I can't always. And I'm not a public shitter. I don't want to be that guy that everybody's heard at Wawa when you go in there and take a piss. The guys in there like, I don't want to be that dude. So I will find a construction site and find a fucking porta potty if I have to go, and I'll shit in a porta potty.
Bro, porta potties are the fucking worst.
It's disgusting.
Dude,
but at least
when I had to work,
they're disgusting. But at least I'm not fucking like in a public restroom.
This
with
guy
people
cares so much about what people say, man.
Yeah.
Too much.
I do.
I'll shit anywhere.
I'm the same way, bro. I fear that little crack where when people walk by and you make the eye contact.
Catch eyes.
They're like, oh, damn. They know
because
it's me.
honestly, I've been in bathrooms before where I'm like, what the fuck is that guy doing in there? I've never made that noise in my life. Yeah. And I'll fucking hang out by I'll look at waters and I'll be like, that fucking dude made that fucking noise.
He waits. I'll hang out.
Wait for him.
I'll hang out. Wait for him. And see what the fuck made that noise.
I'm telling you,
Get
bro.
out of here.
It's usually some old dude, but I'm like, how you sounded like you were dying in there. Literally sounded like you were dying. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you to walk out one of these times.
Yeah.
You'll shit in public? You'll go to Wawa and take a shit?
I don't want to. Right. I mean, I definitely had to. You know what I'm saying? Like on a plane. I don't want to shit in a plane. That's where you don't want to shit.
No, definitely. Tiny little bathroom.
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, he gets tested all the time by USADA. You don't always have to go, like you just piss, obviously.
USADA, you know what USADA is, right?
No,
it's the U.S. Anti-Doping Association.
Okay.
It's like Olympic athletes, and the UFC hired them, so they test all the UFC athletes, and I have to tell them where I am all the time, where I sleep. I have an app. I have to update it. It's a fucking pain in the ass.
Wow.
But they come randomly. They came when we were doing a podcast once.
Wow.
And the dude wouldn't wait.
Yeah.
He waited like 5 minutes, and Renee came down and said, look, if you're not going to come up now, he's going to come down and sit in on the podcast because that's how regimented they are.
Yeah,
I'll let
Frankie.
Frankie tells a story funny. We're talking about shitting. Listen to this, man.
Yeah, because you have to do 90 mil of piss when you piss in the thing, and it's actually kind of fun. 90 mil is a lot for me. Shit, a lot of times they come like I'll get up in the morning to take my morning piss, and they'll come like 10 minutes later. I'm like, fuck. Then I'm trying to drink water, drink my coffee, try to get a piss for them. So now it's the morning. I did my morning piss. Now I'm like, listen, I got to piss, but I got to take a shit too, He's like, well, I got to go in with you. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. Dude, this dude is staring at me. Like this guy's trying to watch the shit come out of me or something. You know what I'm saying? So foul. I'm like, fucking man, I ain't even flushing this shit. I'm like, he's going to fucking enjoy it.
Listen, it's hard because if you really got to shit.
Like, look at me in my eyes as I'm shitting. That's fucked up.
That's some romantic
shit.
There was
a connection. Yeah. There was a connection there. There was definitely. You get the same guy every time now.
No. Now something happened to him. I think I might have ruined. I scarred him.
That's great.
I don't know, man. Because listen, when you got to shit and piss, it's kind of like you almost can't hold it back. But I feel like if I know that guy's leaving with my 90 mils, I'd pinch my butt cheek so hard and just give him the 90 mils and be like, get the fuck out of here. Now I gotta go.
Dude, you can't.
You couldn't do it?
I mean, I can't. Sometimes the shit makes the piss come out.
Yeah, true.
True.
That is true.
I think we've turned off a lot of viewers today.
Yeah.
No. Damn, I miss shitting regularly.
So, what are you doing, man? You're still doing your podcast?
Still doing the podcast.
Where can people listen to your podcast?
Glorious House of Gains
Yes.
with a Z podcast. We are everywhere. We're on all the different apps, and we live stream on YouTube. Generally, it's on Thursday nights about around 9 p.m. Robert Frank 615 is where you could find my YouTube channel. But I'm doing that, and like since I can't drive, I can't lift, I can't there's very little things, very few things that I live for. Some of them are very goofy. People laugh at me. I live to go tanning. The tanning salon that I go to is like 40 minutes away from my house. Okay, so it's kind of weird, right? People are like, that
45 minutes away?
40 minutes away, yeah.
Fucking
There's got to be 100 of them.
There's got to be 100 of them in between. But
yeah,
the one
that's
I go
the one you
to,
like? Yeah.
This is the one that's got the bed that I love. It's like my favorite one. So the drive to and from, like I love being in the car with absolute silence. Because that's where, if I'm not listening to a podcast, if I'm not listening to Champ and the Tramp or anything like that, I'm in dead silence because that's when I get my best ideas, my best thoughts, creativity. I'm always like, my brain is always going.
But how do you like? These thoughts are coming. Do you jot them down? Do you have a video
notepad,
tape?
baby?
Notepad.
Audio, yeah. I on my phone. If I think of like a
put it
cool
in
line,
my notepad in my phone too.
yeah, and I talk into the notepad. And half the time the notepad fucks up what you say, but then it's always amazing how hours later you can look back and what the hell? Oh, that's what I was saying.
You actually do that with voice messages too.
Yeah.
The first time I ever text you, we were going back and forth. You would respond to my text, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
oh, this is like
gotta hit play.
This is like this is like a voicemail
Voicemail.
that I play, and then it deletes after like a minute or something.
All the foreign, like I train with a lot of like Russians, foreigners. They all do that.
Oh really?
Everybody.
First one I ever got was from this guy. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Why do I got to hit a play button? What is this? But tanning is something that I look forward to doing every day, or at least every other day. As goofy as that sounds, I know I look very pale right now, but I will get my tan back. Going to the gym, which is also something I can't do right now. I can't do shit. I'm not a TV guy. I don't watch TV. I don't binge watch shows. I'm not a Netflix dude. So the only thing that's keeping me busy right now is my store, because my store is in my basement. And luckily, because of
your merch,
my merch, if it wasn't for the support of, I call them the Robert Francomaniacs out there, we did a 6-figure April.
Good for you,
I mean,
man.
just because, I don't know if it was the sympathy of people were like, oh man, this dude's in the hospital, like let's show him some love, because people wanted to know like where my GoFundMe was. I was like, I don't have a GoFundMe. Like,
never thought about that?
No, I don't. No, I do.
Why?
I do
Too much
well
like charity
enough.
for you?
Too much charity. And listen, you want to donate some bread to Robert Frank and his medical bills. Go to my store and buy something.
And maybe this is
what I mean.
Maybe this is a little bit personal question, but you told me there's nothing
nothing
taboo to
nothing
ask.
taboo.
You're a self-employed guy. Obviously, you have medical insurance. Was it enough to fucking? I mean, bro, 2.5 months in the hospital is a long time.
My wife has excellent benefits.
And you're married. Good for you. Yeah.
So she's got them super duper benefits.
Good, bro.
Where
Good.
I think actually it's funny. We joke about it now. There really were very little hospital costs or anything like that.
Good.
And we make a joke about it because we have a $100 ER copay.
Yep.
So when I first went into the ER and I was like dying in pain, they come in with that little cart and they're like, yeah, give me your credit card, $100 copay.
Yeah.
So, but once you're admitted to the hospital, that copay gets waived. So we made a joke that the hospital actually owed us $100 for me being there for so long. But no, thank God she had excellent benefits.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
I always tell people, in lieu of a GoFundMe or anything like that, just go to my store and buy a T-shirt, man. At least you get something out of it.
Sure.
You get something to put on your back.
Yeah.
So
you ever think of documenting this process and recovery?
It has been. It's in the process of being documented as we speak. So
awesome, man. That's a
we
great
will see
idea.
we will see the beginnings, the roots of it all, and when I was 138 pounds to, all the IVs in my arms and everything. I didn't do as good of a job as I'd like to looking back at all the footage now. I was like, damn, I should have picked up the camera a few more times, but who the hell wants to when you're in that state?
Especially those emotional moments, which would be the ones that would get a big draw. You don't want to see yourself like that, you know what I mean?
So here's the thing. We our podcast didn't take a break. For the whole time that I was in the hospital, I called it because it's me and two of my buddies, Joey Bag of Donuts and Ray Worldwide, and and Marissa, my wife, she sat in because she knew all the lingo of all the crap that was going on with me. So she would sit in and kind of give, but I called in every week. So I would spend 10, 20 minutes as a guest on my own podcast. And I would say maybe out of the 6 weeks that I was a guest, probably 4 of the 6 weeks I broke down. Like I cried on the show. Yeah. And people were like, just like, yo, like I can't imagine that car guy that's alpha male. Like,
bro, you're a human
yeah,
being.
exactly. People don't know that.
Being.
They want me to be that guy all the
yeah,
time.
right.
You know what I mean? They don't see that side of me.
Nah,
but
I'd rather know the real dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
would
a lot
seem
of people
too,
would.
It would seem too put on if you would never. I mean, I don't care how tough you are, bro. Everybody has a moment of weakness and
Right.
a moment where you're a human, you know.
Right.
So,
But I think that's what
except for this guy. Except for this
well,
guy. This guy
yeah,
never.
this
does.
guy's a machine.
This guy is
man.
funny. He asked you, did you think about documenting this? Obviously, I said the same. You know, because he's a fighter. You know what I mean? Like he's a fighter. And I knew we wanted to keep it on the down low, but I thought at some point it would be really relevant. I knew he was going to talk about it. His hip surgery. I said, document it, whether it be on your cell phone. Renee even busted out a GoPro that she had. I was like, document your experience. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. You know, because we're always looking to create new YouTube content and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, hey, did you get it? Did you get it? Nah.
No, I did some stuff, but I couldn't have anybody in the place with me. I was by myself the whole time. They dropped me off at the lobby and picked me up.
Because
like,
yours was an outpatient.
I had to do it myself. I'm not that guy. I'm not like a
but it was like, you're right. Because it was
I'm
like
sitting there talking with myself. I did it when I was fucking high on drugs. I was like,
That's all my footage.
It's like you were in and out in a day, basically. It was an outpatient surgery, right?
Day,
so it probably is difficult when you can't have somebody in there. Yours was more of a, I mean, it was a fucking lifetime experience where you were there for 2+ months. You know?
Yeah, I go back and I replay footage of me where it's like just 2 straight minutes of just me talking to the camera, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm so doped up, man. They had me on so many pain gimmicks and just like everything, and it's actually scary now. I tell my wife, and this is actually kind of weird too, and I don't know if this is like some kind of like PTSD type shit, but now that I've been home for like 2 weeks, and this just started like a day or two ago, every time I close my eyes, like if I'm going to take a nap, because I really can't do shit. So I'm either packing merch or I'm napping when I'm in the house, or I'm here. Anytime that I close my eyes to like take a nap or like just relax or rest my eyes, the hospital keeps popping up. And different scenes from my time over those 2 months keep popping like visions in my head. And it like scares the shit out of me. Like I see surgeons, I see nurses, I see people peeking their heads in. Like, it's crazy, and
crazy.
You know, I never.
Probably is a form of PTSD.
What if?
Yeah, it's got.
It's a crazy thought. What if you didn't make it? What if you died and this is a simulation?
What the fuck?
This would be pretty
you
cool,
bring
man.
that up a lot. You bring it up a lot. You say all the time
I'm
when
gonna
it's
do it right in
simulation.
front of them.
Hey, there'd be no other place I want to be than here, man. Shit. If
You
this
said
is
that-
not real,
you said nothing is too taboo.
nothing is too taboo, man. I'm an open book, man.
Listen, when
I think about that
when
sometimes.
Chris Weidman broke his leg exactly like Anderson broke his leg, and he's the guy that did Anderson, I was like, we're living in a simulation.
I thought
You know
the
what I'm
same thing,
saying?
bro. And it was like a decade later, same fucking exact injury to the guy that did it to Anderson Silva. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of UFC and stuff like that, people when I first came out about the ulcerative colitis, they were like, "Yo, you gotta YouTube GSP. He's got ulcerative colitis.
He does, yeah.
So
No way.
that's why I say there's levels to this shit. He's still got everything intact.
Yeah,
He's still, he has like those flare-ups, which are no joke. I'm not downplaying anybody with ulcerative colitis, but when people DM me and email me and message me, I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly. Unless you've perforated twice, needed 2 emergency surgeries, almost died twice, lost 4.5 feet of your large intestines, and basically lost 80 pounds, you really don't know what I'm going through. But it's like I say, there's levels.
Cerrone, he had a bunch of his intestines taken out, but I think it was from like a
Dirt bike
an
accident.
though,
Dirt
not-
bike.
yeah,
She
yeah,
got. If I'm saying, listen, I already got Bradley Martin way wrong.
Yeah.
So I could get this wrong, but I believe it was a dirt bike accident where he caught the bars, the handle
Oh, my
in
God.
the intestines, and it perforated his intestines or whatever. So we had to have somebody. He's got a big scar, a big gnarly scar.
Wow. Yeah, Brock Lesnar too. He had diver.
Diverticulitis.
Yeah, he had some of his a foot. I think of
That's
his large
fairly
intestines
common.
removed.
That's where you can't eat certain food like nuts and stuff. They get trapped. They get pockets in your intestines.
Right.
Fairly common.
Yeah.
Oh, ruin your social life.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah. This fucking guy.
Nuts. I just put that together. That was amazing. That was
idiot.
quick. That was
Idiot.
quick. I love it.
And Crohn's also fairly common. You know.
Yeah.
My old manager had Crohn's, and I remember being at an event with her, and she was trying to play it cool, play it off, but she had to leave, and I was like, texting her like, "Where?" She's like, "I'm so sorry. I had like a really bad flare up. I had to go."
Yep.
Yeah.
People on the outside that don't know the world of IBS, I guess it's called, irritable bowel syndrome, because it all falls under the umbrella of irritable bowel syndrome, from what I'm told anyway. People just think it's somebody with a stomach ache. Yeah. It's so much more than a stomach ache, and I feel bad for anybody that has any of this shit.
I believe stomach aches are the fucking worst thing in the world. I can't imagine it being like something like a serious issue. Right. That's miserable.
Yeah, but if you see blood, everybody, just make sure.
Don't wait 3 weeks. Yeah.
Don't wait 3 weeks. Again, it could be a case like mine where it was a what do they call autoimmune disease? But if they could fix it with an antibiotic, it's a lot easier than having all these surgeries and having everything else go wrong and spending almost 2.5 months in the hospital. But
so there's no way, like you caught this earlier.
No.
Yours is going the way it was going.
Mine said they told me mine was going the way it was going, no matter how I played it. So that was the one thing that saved me, because of course your wife is like, "You should have went. I told you so. I told you. You should have went. You should have went. You should have went." And they were like, "He could have came on day one." And
during that 3 weeks where you were shitting blood, were you still going to the gym?
I was going to the gym, but the workouts were getting less intense. Yeah. Cardio sessions were being cut short because I had to get home to shit, because, again, I can't shit at the gym. Right. What if someone sees Robert Frank through the crack? You know what I mean? So
Frankie wouldn't care, apparently.
Yeah, Frankie wouldn't care. But no, they were getting – I would say I haven't gotten a good, like, balls-to-the-wall workout since maybe the beginning of February. Damn. So going 3 months now – with no gym and losing all this weight and just looking like a different person every time I look in the mirror, it's like it really depresses the shit out of me, which is why I say I cry every day. Like, I'm not too proud or embarrassed to say it. Like, tears roll down my eyes. But I know that as much as people are like, dude, you're going to get better, you're going to get back, you're going to be better than ever, all I see in my head is 2 more surgeries to go before I could get to that point.
But I listen, I think you're smart enough to realize – you built something, and it wasn't 15 minutes. You built it into something, and I think you're smart enough to see past that and realize this could make you bigger. You know what I mean? The comeback could really build your brand bigger. And you weren't 15 minutes of fame and gone. This has been years and years. You've been in the game, and you're still doing it. This could just make your story bigger, bro. The comeback. You know?
And I texted you this the other day when you checked up on me. What was it, last Saturday? You were like, when are we hitting the gym this morning? What are we doing? It's when I hear from people like you, like just these random texts from like your friends that are like, yeah, it just like lifts your spirits up. And you do it in a way, and here's what was killing me is after being in the hospital for 2.5 months, when you just get the random text from people, how do you feel today? Yeah. How do you feel? Any better? Any better? Any better? It was like, it was just coming from all angles. Like, I don't want those text messages. Right. Please don't ask me how I'm doing. The way that you do it is like, keep it light, you keep it light. It's like, bro, when do we go? Because that reminds me of
listen, man, I've talked about it on the show. I went through my bullshit. I went through, not a physical thing, but depression. I really went through some bad shit where I wanted to check out. And I would get text messages, not from the people I ever thought I would get them from. Mm-hmm. I would get them from, and I remember every single one of them. Yeah. The people that I did not think would check up on me were checking up on me. And the things they were saying, it was just maybe 1 text a day, 2 texts a day. But I was like, fuck, people care. You know what I mean? And it made a difference. It really, truly did. And I look at those people completely different today. And I still will text them. This is years ago. This is 2.5 years ago. Right. I'll still text them to this day. Occasionally, I'm not that guy to fucking send it. And I'll be like, hey, man, just so you know, that meant a lot. It really did. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah. One of them was. Yeah, it was. I'm not really, I wouldn't say that I'm that, like, super, super close with Woods. Although I've always loved him as a person and as a friend. But bro, he through all that shit, he was, once a day he would check in on me, thinking of you, bro. Don't let this get you down. You know who you are. You're a good dude. you know, and
He's solid.
he's a solid dude, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. And like you said, it's always from the people that you really don't expect to hear from.
Right.
And it's good. It's good to hear from those people every once in a while. It sucks that it's got to be something crazy that's going on in your life, whether it's what you went through or what I went through, or. But it's good to hear from them.
When I was going through my shit, you were one of those guys, man. I think initially I reached out to you first, but you said something back like, "Hey, man, I was wondering how you doing." And you at the time nobody wanted to touch me.
Yeah.
You were like, "Call my manager, man. Reach out to my manager," and I did, man. You know, and he picked me up when I was kind of untouchable. Your guy picked me up,
right?
He was really handling PR press more than anything, but you know, that time has passed, man. But you know, and likewise. So that had an impact on me. So, of course, when I heard what you were going through, I said, fuck, man, I got to reach out to this dude, you know, and let him know people care, you know. But you were probably in the hospital for a good month before I even knew about it, you know.
Right. Yeah, because I kept it under wraps, man. I didn't want to be that dude that with, like, the clickbaity stuff. And I was just, like, down in my own. I was stewing in my own shit, you know what I mean? And then I was like, all right, you know what? Let me let people know what's going on. And because, like you said, I was posting old content. People were like, what's going on? Did this dude die? Like... you know, I haven't posted on my Instagram in over a year on my main page. Anyway, I do stories and shit, but I don't really post on there anymore. So people were just like, where's this dude been, man? So, but yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to the comeback. I'm looking forward to being better than I was before. I just got to get these roadblocks of these next 2 surgeries out of the way. And once they're out of the way, we get to be bigger and better than we were before. And it's funny because my wife says, When you're all better and all these surgeries are done, you're not going to go back to doing what you did before, right? And we both know, all 4 of us know what we're talking about. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, are you fucking crazy? So now
there's absolutely no connection.
There's no connection. There's no correlation.
Yeah.
This is what I ranted about on my podcast last week because people come at you with they're like, oh, well, if you weren't doing this, it's because of this is why this happened. No, there's no direct correlation that anyone could prove. And if there is proof, come at me with straight facts and present it. Otherwise, shut your mouth. Right. But I told her. But this time I'm going to have to go through a more legit avenue of how to get, you know, the special medicine that I need to be more of a man and increase my testosterone instead of doing the internet bathtub guy gimmick that you never meet the guy that.
Listen, man, this is my belief, and I think you would agree, and I think most people that run gear would agree. As long as you're monitoring your levels and you're checking your enzyme levels and you're monitoring your liver, it is not even remotely close to as harmful as the stereotype that's out there.
Of course.
It really is not.
Of course. You know? Yeah, as long as you know what you...
Testosterone's a good thing.
It's a great
The body
thing.
naturally creates it, and as you get older, it decreases.
Right.
If you're replenishing that and you're using that testosterone by working out, going to the gym, and you're, like I said, monitoring your levels and checking your liver enzymes and all that sort of thing, which I do every 6 months, I don't see a predominantly bad side to it.
No, there's not. And like you say, your body creates it.
We got to get Frankie to that 175 somehow.
Hey, let's do it. I think 185.
Keep telling me this stuff, buddy. Keep telling me the stuff that you tell your stuff to make you feel good, because it's making me feel good. All right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't wait. I'm having daydreams about it right now. I just can't wait to be 205 again.
You'll be
like,
there.
I don't care how I look. I could look like crap, but just let me get over 200.
There's
again.
Sort of a viral before and after picture of you out there. I showed it to Frankie when I first mentioned it to him. I said, you know, he was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. I didn't hear it. I was like, look at this picture.
Yeah.
You made the choice to do that before and after?
Yeah. I did. I was like, you know what? Let me show people what I'm going through, because, you know.
And you can use that for motivation as well. For yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's clickbaity as hell, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, yeah, this is going to get some clicks.
Why
People are
not?
going to see
Why
what's
not?
going on here.
Like I said, dude, I think you're in a good position to motivate some people, inspire some people, and just bring more content. You're a content creator, man. This is perfect content.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's a good segue to maybe
and motivate yourself. Like, you know, shit.
For
If
sure.
you don't, you got it's almost your job to do this now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The one thing that I'm going to have to get over is, again, 1% or less than 1% of the people who recognize me in the gyms, in the grocery stores, and this know what happened to me. So I'm going to have to get over the damn, you skinny as hell. Damn, I thought you were bigger. Damn, what happened to you?
Do you get that anyway? That's probably the number one comment that I get regardless. I'm actually the heaviest I've ever been right now. I'm 252 pounds.
I guess 270.
No, I'm 252. Little fluffy in the gut. No, I'd like to be... But doesn't matter. If I see someone that was a fan of the show in the supermarket or whatever, it's usually not in this area because I'm always around here. If I go somewhere and I see somebody, like, bro, I thought you were bigger, man.
Damn.
Fuck, I get that. How the fuck do you get that?
I get it.
Bro, you're giant.
Bro, I get it all the time. And I always say the same thing back. I always say, buy a smaller TV. You know,
Hey.
but
Dude, you are. You're fucking. That's crazy.
people say
They
it
just want to say it
all
to get
the
you.
time, bro. All the time.
I might say that shit. Yo, you look a lot bigger. You look a lot bigger.
No,
on
bro,
TV,
it's
bro.
probably the number one. It's probably the number one comment I get.
That
You lost
was
some weight, huh? You lost some weight.
that
Oh,
was
you're bigger.
always the number one comment that I would get. Like at expos, people were like, "Damn, I thought you were taller. Damn, I thought you were bigger." Because the camera angle of me being in the car with the shirt off, I look like I'm 390. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, now more than ever that I lost my shoulders, I lost my lats and everything. It's just like I just don't want to deal with that. But the faster I get through it and answer those questions a few times,
Right.
the more that I just
It's going to be a tough initial,
sure.
get out of your house moment.
I need to find a 24-hour gym where I could go 4 o'clock in the morning, where there's me and one other guy in there that has no idea who I am. So that'll be good. Unfortunately, I lift at like a crunch or a retro or something now. So
the last time you were on the show, man, was in the height of the COVID pandemic, and you were driving to Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I think, only like an hour for you.
yeah,
But
45,
still,
50
you were,
minutes.
that was the only place that was open and you could
Sure.
lift. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, when you go back, you can go to your local gym again, right?
Yeah, I can. I'm just, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to find a couple. What's scary is hoodies don't even cover up how skinny I am right now. So I'm gonna have to wear like 4 hoodies. I'm gonna be sweating my ass off in there. But yeah, I could go. There's the closest retro to me is 5 minutes away, so I could go and get a quick lift and get home. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. And again, maybe this route of getting back to jacked is going to be more of a segue back into like the more fitnessy stuff and away from the political stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. I gained such a new following doing that political stuff and being like super conservative and pro-Trump and just coming out with all that stuff. I gained such a big following. Now that I'm not talking about that anymore, I'm slowly losing those people.
I'm really surprised you didn't get banned or shadow banned with that, because it seems like everybody from that perspective does these days, you know? And you have a big audience.
Yeah.
You were really outspoken about it. You never got shadow banned? Never got?
I mean, I don't know.
It's possible?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible that certain videos that I did or at certain times, but you know, I think right now, like you said, everybody's dealing with shit and algorithm changes and stuff like that. So you really don't know if you're actually being targeted or if you're just a part of a bigger problem that they're having or changes or whatever. But I think the stuff that I'm doing right now, I could kind of gauge how many views and how many likes something gets, and I think I'm right around where I should be right now for the amount of followers that I have. So I don't think anything has directly impacted me right now. But again, I haven't talked about any of that shit in months. Right. So I kind of lost interest in it once everything went down.
It's a real roll of the dice if you have like a podcast or you have a YouTube channel. It's that you're really to delve into politics, especially if you're right-leaning or conservative views. You're really rolling the dice.
You're going to lose half your audience.
Right.
It's just
not only that, you know, they'll demonetize it. You know, so. I think we're pretty open-minded in here. I think we always said we were middle. I think probably I lean a little more to the right, but sure. We've had some guests on that are very far to the left, and I think we always learn from them. You know what I mean? I think so. I think we're pretty open-minded at the very least. But anyway, not to go down the avenue of politics, right. Robert, it was a pleasure and an honor to have you on, buddy. I am so happy to see you. You look, as soon as you got out of the car to walk in here, I said, "Hey, you don't look bad at all, man," didn't I? I said
Come
that.
on. That's what you said, but that's not what you
Not
thought.
at all, bro. I really didn't. I thought you would look worse. But
yeah, man. We look forward to the comeback. I mean, we're gonna have you on the couch when you're back to being 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So
the minute I hit 199 and a half, I'm texting you, and I'm like, bro, book me.
Yes.
'Cause I will be
Yeah.
200 again. We'll bring the scale down here. We'll do a weigh-in. I'll come on down in my underwear and do a little weigh-in for you guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And thank you again for having me, both of
Absolutely,
you, because
man.
this is huge for me just to be on your show. So.
I appreciate the openness. You know, not every guest comes on and is as open book as you were. And you text me, I'm an open book, bro. Ask me whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think we hit you. Other than asking you, can you have sex with your wife now?
Ooh, that's a thing. I'll shoot straight, man. I have not since this whole thing went
shit.
down. Bro, and this is kind of weird too. This is TMI, dude. I haven't even gotten a hard on.
Oh shit! Well, you're not running
So-
that. You're not running that.
Well,
test
I'm not
anymore,
running.
so-
I'm not running anything, and but I got for when the moment is right. Like right now, like I feel disgusting.
Yeah.
I got a bag of shit on my stomach.
it's
You know what I
mental.
mean?
It's
Like
mental,
it's
sure.
a big mental thing, but
Yeah.
I got some pills and potions in the
There you
house
go,
that I
baby.
think
There
when
you
the
go.
time is right,
Well, we
I'll,
appreciate you, man.
yeah,
Thank you so
no
much for
worries.
coming
Yeah,
on.
I do look forward to this documentary if you ever do that, man. I think that's a great idea. I think it'd be a hit too. You know?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Like I said, I'm trying to inspire and motivate and reach a new audience of people that don't know me from the car. So it'll be cool.
Right.
But thank you guys so much for having me again.
Sure.
This is
Yeah, man.
huge for me just to be on your show.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your friendship, and I'll be texting you. I'll be keeping in touch. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody for listening. Champ and the Tramp, check us out. And Robert Frank, man, thank you for coming on.
Let's go.
Yeah.